Hi guys again, and today, like before I made this video, I made the other video, and I just want to mention on why I think children would do better running the country and running the whole entire world. It's because if we look at adults these days, they're just a little bit pathetic, if you know what I mean. A little bit stupid. A little bit idiotic, and they sometimes don't know when to keep their gob shut, you know what I mean? And the reason why I think adults ain't good for, running your planet or running a country or anything like that, or running, a little village, all because they think they can do it. It doesn't mean they can do it. I know children out there who can do better than adults, and I'd known them because I've met them, and they told me they can do a lot better than the adults could ever do. The reason why adults ain't good to run a country, or don't know how to run a country no more, or run a whole entire world, is because they're not like their ancestors. They ain't like their mums and dads. It's different now. And when difference come, times change, and you hate it more because of who you are. And the reason why you hate it is because you can't do your job properly, and you can't do anything properly really. The only thing you know how to do is try to make your life look simple, which it shouldn't be simple, it should be hard, you know? Like I said in the last video, a kid's life should be simple. A kid's life should be very simple. They shouldn't be going to school. They should be having tutoring at home. They shouldn't be going places where they don't want to go, like, like uh, like an event or a party or somewhere, or a school dance or a ball or anything like that. That if they don't want to go, don't force them to go. Because I've noticed quite a lot of that, forcing the child to go places. And I don't like that. And I think the adults need to act properly and simple and be very simplified for what they do, and very, very, very nauseous for what they do, okay? Because if your kid tells you he doesn't want to go, or if she tells you they she doesn't want to go to a prom, or if she doesn't want to go to a place she doesn't want to go and you're forcing her to go, same with the boy. If you're forcing them to go as well, forcing him to go, then I don't like that, especially when the kids, okay? Maybe it should be the other way around. Yeah, the other way around. The kids should be forcing you to go, not you forcing the kid to go. Okay? Because if you think about it, the kid is intelligent. It's hella intelligent. Better than you, and better than your intelligence, you stupid adults. Okay? Because that's true. Kids are more intelligent than you. And I'm telling you now, they're more simplified than you. They know more than you, and they have lots of intelligence than you. And you're mistreating them, and it's not fair on them. Why isn't it the other way around, and they mistreat you? Because this is how the world's working. TikTok, and it's like, when does a kid get to answer a question? When does a kid get to, speak up about how he's feeling or how she's feeling, or how does a kid get to do something they like going out, you know, playing board games like Snakes and Ladders, but then your parent tells you we can't afford it, unfortunately. I find that to be a bunch of a nonsense, because you can afford it. You're just saying it to your kid, so you don't have to waste your money. And that's the reason why I think if it's saying that to your kid, or because you think they have enough toys, and when you notice when you go back to the house, there isn't enough, and your kid's asking you very nicely that he wants that toy, and you're telling him or her that you can't get it because it's too expensive. A load of nonsense. It really is a load of nonsense. It really is. I stick with the children. I always stick with the children. The children are very important. You know, they should be important to many adults, but many adults think that children have a weird fascination with toys and books and, sometimes DVDs and Halloween masks and going out trick or treating when it's Halloween, or opening Christmas presents or the birthday presents. That ain't weird. Adults are weird. Adults are very weird. Let me tell you something. Adults are very weird. I can tell you that why. I could tell you now why that is. Adults don't know how to control their hormones. They don't know how to control their sexual life. And they most certainly don't know how to control the way they speak to their kids. Because I've seen most adults screaming and shouting at their kids. And then that thing, you think that's going to help your child when they grows up, or when she grows up, to respect you for who you are, all because you've been screaming at them ever since they were younger, yeah? And you're expecting them to look at you as their parents when they feel like you ain't respecting what they want. You're just forcing stuff on them. And I believe that when it comes down to that, I don't think no kid would want a parent like that, especially when you're forcing stuff onto them. Like forcing them to go to college when they don't want to go to college. They just want to, you know, sit there doing stuff, playing games or YouTube. What's the harm in that? Or if a kid just wants to go out on his bike that day, or because he's being bullied at school and he just wants to get away from school, and the parents are forcing him to go in, or her to go in, it shouldn't mean that, you as an adult should be very forceful for who you are. It doesn't mean you should be able to, dislocate yourself from your child's needs and emotions. And it most certainly doesn't mean you have to look down at them and say to them, you can't do that stuff. You can't go places if you don't go to school. You can. I've been places before, and I've done loads of stuff. I have done quite a few things. I've rode my bike, I've gone for walks. I find it very difficult to respect adults, really. I just find it very, very difficult to just look at an adult and say to them that if you're an adult, a respectful adult, then you are a nice person. But if you ain't, and you're mistreating your child, screaming and shouting at them and causing them damage, then you are most certainly a disgusting adult, a most disgusting adult I've ever known. Okay, because you are nothing but a hypocrite, but you beat down on little people like children, or your emotions go high and you just look at this tiny child and you just beat them up, and it's like, why should they have you as a parent when when they look at you, they fear you because of who you are. And that's the true colours. That's all that they see is the true colours in the parents. Some of the parents that have sexually abused them. And in my eyes, them tiny little things, little children, tiny little cuties, shouldn't go through that pain. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. If it should happen to anyone, it should happen to adult males. Yeah, it should happen to them, not children. It should happen to adult males. Okay, that's all I have to say on that. On that respect, on that promotion right there. That's what I should have to say. All I have to say is that children are more respected than you are as an adult. You adults are absolutely hypocritical and have no sensation in what you say to others. You have no sensation in what you do with your child's needs. You have no sensation in what you are feeling at that time. And you have no sensation in remorse at all. So if you have remorse and you think you do, don't be crying. Don't be crying because you know they ain't gonna change, and you know you've beat down on your child, you've hurt your child, and you're not gonna get any remorse. Not even if you're crying. Sorry, but you ain't. It just isn't gonna happen, and it never will happen. So the only thing that's gonna happen to you if you beat down on a child or even physically touch up a child, you're gonna get beaten up and murdered, especially if you're adult males and females. I don't give a shit. Okay, don't give a crap. Yeah, I really don't give a crap, or if what happens to you goes badly wrong, or well, I don't give a dang, because you deserve it for what you do to them children. And if you hurt a child, you are going to hell straight away, and you will die in hell. You will bleed out in suffering pain, and then all us people, all us people are gonna look at you and say to you, you're the problem, because you are the problem. You're the problem that your child fears you, and you're the problem your wife is absolutely indulged with another man. And you're the problem that you can't go to work the next day without saying sorry, even though you ain't saying sorry, because the next time you come in after a night shift, you'll be drunk and then you'll be doing it all over again. Now, I think that if you have a kid, your kid should be put in foster care if you're doing that sort of thing to them. If you're beating up your kid and wife, your wife should leave you and leave you without anything and be very superficial with that. Or even slice your neck open, because you might deserve that in very, very severe matters. And your child should join in as well on the murder, because you indulged in their pain, so why don't they indulge in your pain and make you feel sorry for what you did to that child? Okay. Now I'd like you to like and subscribe. If you're a child, you can like and subscribe. If you're an adult, you can comment down below or like and subscribe. But please don't be stupid. Just don't be stupid. Because you don't know what the sensation of pain looks like if you've seen it. Especially in them children's eyes. Them poor children's eyes. You masturbated. Disgusting freak of nature. That's your problem. That ain't mine. So if you treat children badly, they'll have their chance to beat you up and make sure you bleed out because of the way you treated them. Same goes for your wife. That's very superior pain right there. True. Very superior pain.